Well, I appreciated the warm welcome I received this morning. As I walked into the door, Las Madres was practicing, and the music was beautiful. It was warm, it was welcoming. So thank you, ladies. I appreciate that. I recall a time when we were traveling when, well, the welcome wasn't quite so warm and friendly. So it started out, it was a beautiful day. We had flown to Connecticut. We had Sandy's smiling already. So we had flown to Connecticut. We had rented a car. We were going to drive into Boston to see my niece. And I remember, cresting the hill, and it was beautiful. I was enjoying the moment. Well, a few hours later, we're approaching Boston, and I think we were in the suburbs or the outer lying towns. I don't know. I really don't know where we were at. But do you know there that they don't have those nice square miles that we have? Where if you make a wrong turn, you can turn around and get back on track. Everything is laid out so neatly here. There, it is like driving in a bowl of spaghetti. And they love their roundabouts. And so we got on this roundabout, and we're not sure, and we literally went 3 times around because I wanted to check my options. And that was not clear enough, so we pulled off to the side, and we got out and looked at the sign to read the sign. We were still kind of lost. That was before GPS. And then we discovered that you get on a roundabout and you go about 200 yards and you're into another roundabout. I mean, how many roads can converge? So you can imagine it's frustrating. I'm getting tired and frustrated, and then discovering that, I'm going to need a bathroom pretty soon. And so finally, I pulled off into a stone parking lot. And I looked around, and there are trees, there are bushes, and then the headline goes through my mind, Ohio Mennonite pastor is caught, no. And so I went on a walking tour, and I found a barber shop. And of course, I could use the restroom there if I got my hair cut. So I went on to a bank. No, not a bank. And then I found a police station and discovered that, no, they cannot control the crime that happens in their own building, so they have no public restrooms. Right next door to the police station, and I kid you not, was a donut shop. And so I walked into a donut shop, and that was, they had room where you could walk in, get your donuts, and walk out, and I was done. I do know that the next day, or later that day, when we left Boston, that was a relief. I was ready to get out of Boston because the welcome was not there. We may have seen signs that said welcome, but I did not feel welcome. I did not feel cared for at Boston. Did not feel trusted, and I was glad to leave. If they had welcome signs up, I think I was getting a mixed message. What do you think? But I think that we too, as a church, sometimes we can send mixed messages. We can declare, welcome, come join us. And every congregation would say, yes, we are welcoming. But I believe that every group, churches or otherwise, who have been in existence for more than 10 years, they need to look at their welcome. Because we get caught up in ourselves. We have many connections, don't we? And we're well connected to one another. And that can put a barrier up for those on the outside, those coming in, visitors, and sometimes even people that have been here for a time, and they have never quite fit in. And we might think all are welcome, but in truth, we are sometimes sending mixed messages. So what do you think? Was Jesus welcome at this table? He was invited, wasn't he? He was invited in. Come sit at the table. But that was as far as it went. The welcome ended right there. Let's take a further look at that story and see what Jesus was discovering. It had to be an awkward moment as he sat down and realized that he really wasn't fully welcome there. So Simon came, had him sit at the table. He sat, he was reclining there. But Jesus was being viewed with suspicion. So imagine in the middle of that scene of awkwardness, there comes this woman that walks in, and she begins to make such a fuss over Jesus. She begins to weep and kiss his feet, and then pours perfume on his feet. And what does Simon do? Can you imagine the judgmental thoughts that flood his mind? Why, if that man were really a prophet, he would know that who is touching him. He would know what a sinner she was. You see, Simon was doing what Simon did best. He was guarding the grace of God. He was protecting the truth. He was standing for what he thought was righteousness. Protecting and guarding the grace from undeserving people like this woman, from the hands of sinful folks. You see, what Simon wanted to see that day was proper behavior. He wanted to see behavior that would follow the rules and the regulations, and that would raise no questions. He wanted to see proper behavior because that would enable him to retain his power and control. So inwardly, he was judgmental, and he scoffed, said he would know who is touching him. That woman is a sinner. Simon was guarding the grace of God. Jesus noticed too. And he said, Simon, I have something to tell you. And can you just see the sarcasm drip off of Simon as he says, tell me, teacher. Now, do you think Simon really wanted to hear what Jesus had to say? Was he even interested in hearing from Jesus? No, he was building a stone wall around himself. If you want to talk, go ahead and talk, but I have my barriers up. He says, tell me, teacher. So he tells a story of two debts. One was 10 times larger than the other. Both people could not repay. And so the debts were forgiven. And who appreciates or who loves that person the most? Well, it's not real hard to figure out, is it? You and I can figure it out. A child could figure it out. Well, I suppose the one who was forgiven more. Simon is clearly unimpressed even at this point. And Jesus said, you have judged correctly. And then he goes on to tell Simon about the lack of welcome that he received. He said, you've given me no water, no kiss, no oil. In essence, he was saying, you have not treated me with common courtesy. You have not given me an appropriate greeting, and you have offered me no blessing. Courtesy, greeting, and blessing. Simon, although he was an educated man, he was giving mixed messages, wasn't he? He was saying, welcome, but not welcome. So let's talk about the common courtesies. You know, common courtesies oftentimes go unnoticed. Excuse me. We all live in a realm of the familiar, don't we? We can pretty well tell who is going to sit where. And you see, some of you folks have come to the front because you're participating this morning, I believe, right? But we know where to expect people to sit. We know who is connected to who, what, all the family connections. We know the names. We know that when we read in the bulletin to call Donna, we know which of the 4 Donnas we mean, don't we? Yeah, there's many things like that. We know where it is that we go for coffee or pop or refreshments after the service. We have our patterns and routines. We know all that. We know how the system works. We know the right people to contact to get things done in different areas. We even understand what we mean when I say fellowship hall. It took me a while to figure that out because I thought the basement was also a fellowship hall, but it's not. That's the basement. The fellowship hall is off here to the north. Okay. We all understand the lingo. And we are familiar with the routines that are in place as well. Routines that are first cousin to being familiar. The church has learned to operate in smooth and efficient ways. And if it's working, why try to fix it? Let's just do what we did before. And in doing so, we become blind to what we really look at, what we really look like. We know nothing of what it is to walk into this place and have it be unfamiliar territory. We know nothing of walking in and trying to find our way around, navigate the building, find out where the restrooms are. We know nothing of walking into this place without having some connections with someone, without having a familiar face, someone that we know we can sit with, someone that we can talk to, someone that will care about us. We know nothing of that because we have been here so long. We know nothing about wondering how we will be perceived and how we will fit in, how we will be accepted. And because we know nothing, we place the burden of learning all that onto the visitor or the guest. We make them responsible of creating a bridge. We make them responsible to look around and read the signs and ask the questions. We make them responsible to, okay, where do we go after this worship service? Where is it that I can find some coffee? That would taste good. That'd be a warm welcome, but I really don't know where to go. And I don't want to say, well, where did you get that, right? We place the burden on the visitor. And doing so, we become like Simon. Now, I don't want to say that we do poorly at this. I just want to say that we can do better. We can do better. And so we'll talk about that in a little bit of how we might do better at that. So Jesus encountered having no common courtesy offered to him. He also didn't get much of a greeting either. He may have got a head nod, acknowledgement that, oh, I see you are here, when he arrived at Simon's home. But he needed more. He needed to know that he was valued, that he was accepted. He needed someone to put him at ease. You see, our welcome helps to break down those barriers, to put our visitors at ease. And it creates, instead of your world and my world, it creates a shared experience, our world. Come join me. It helps others know that they belong and that they are valued. A good greeting provides some connecting points. Tell me about yourself. Where do you live? Where have you come from? Are you traveling through? I'd like to know your names. Tell me about your kids, your family, your interests, hobbies. In Matthew 5, we read that if you greet only your brothers, what are you doing more than others? Do not even the pagans do that? So if we only greet those that we know and that we're close to, we can create divisions within us even. We can walk our way, we can go to church and feel like, okay, we have connected with so many people, that was just wonderful. And then realize that there's so many more that perhaps came here and felt disconnected. Paul writes that love must be sincere. Our love for one another must be genuine, authentic. How many of you have ever gone to like a Walmart or a Meijer, and you walk in the door, what do you hear? Well, welcome to Walmart. Okay. How many of you have felt sincerely welcomed? No. You know that they're just paid to stand at the door and say, welcome to Walmart, right? Do we do the same thing when we have greeters, they do the greeting, and so that's taken care of. We got that checked off the list. We have said welcome to our visitors. No, welcome is more than that. Welcome must be genuine, must be sincere. It must come from the heart. And so, we do not do poorly, but we can do better. We need to value our guests and put them at ease and show genuine interest and concern. I believe welcome occurs not necessarily during our meet and greet time. It can, but not necessarily during that time. But welcome here only occurs when one feels genuinely cared for. When they begin to sense that, yes, this is a place where I belong. So Jesus experienced no common courtesies, no greeting, but also no blessing. What could that mean? I believe as hosts and hostesses, we have the opportunity to bless and to honor and to elevate and to encourage and to nurture each guest. We have the opportunity to lift them up and help them find their connecting points. You see, we are called to be givers of God's grace, not defenders of God's grace. We are called to be generous, right? Has anyone worried about whether God's grace would run out? It's not going to run out. And so why are we sometimes so stingy with God's grace? So stingy with our welcome? So meagerly that we don't want to overdo things a bit? Why not say welcome in a big way? Welcome, I'm glad you're here. I've glad that you've come to worship the Lord with us. The blessing helps them connect to God. I truly believe that our welcome is part of a step of our call to evangelize. A warm welcome begins with relationships where we may share our faith. Simon, he didn't do so well. He completely skipped this step, completely skipped his opportunity to bless his guest. You see, Simon was more concerned over behavior than belonging. He was more concerned about seeing proper behavior in the people that he was over than the fact that they might actually belong and feel part of things. He was using this meal as a screening process, right? He was telling Jesus, you need to prove yourself if you're going to gain acceptance here. He was putting up barriers because he wanted to see proper behavior. And once again, he felt the need to guard the grace and protect. But it only makes sense because he came from a background of rules and regulations, didn't he? And behavior was the most important. Didn't matter if the Jewish people felt like they belonged in his presence. As long as they behaved, he was good. But how did Jesus welcome others? Let's consider that. Well, he offered acceptance, didn't he? It says he ate, he drank with sinners and with the tax collectors. He ate and drank with those who didn't have their life in order, whose behavior caused them to be outcasts, who were disloyal to the system, who were worldly. He opened his arms to the children and says, let them come to me. Bring their laughter and their joy and their questions and their squirmly, squiggly bodies full of energy. Come to me. He welcomed others as family, welcomed them into an intimate setting. He gave them his time, his priority. For the woman caught in adultery and the one with the issue of blood, he welcomed them with reassurance. It will be okay. Come into my presence. To the crowds who were lost and without direction, he felt compassion for them. And for the many people who had needs and wants and needed healing, he offered patience. Even when he was tired, he said, come unto me. The welcome of Jesus invited others to connect with him, to hear the invitation to come, follow me. If we are to be welcoming like Jesus, we can't just show up without having compassion for others. Our compassion for others must be genuine, it must be sincere, and it must be felt by those on the receiving end. Unfortunately, sometimes we operate like Simon. We have a tendency to guard the grace and to look for proper behavior before we begin to offer belonging. Our suspicious nature causes us to keep our distance sometimes and to check things out before allowing others to get close to us. And in doing so, we too begin to send that mixed message of, oh, you're welcome, but not welcome. How do we do that? When we are hesitant, when we fail to take that first step and offer that greeting, It shows our heart. It shows that we are inside reluctant to meet others. When we keep our distance, and sometimes, a common thing is to, after the service, to walk to the pastor. Who was that over there? Why didn't you go greet them, right? We want to check a person out. Oh, I see them over there, but I'm not going to go ask their name or greet them. That makes a pastor's heart sad, I'll tell you. Take that step to introduce yourselves and say welcome. Another way that we may be like Simon is when we greet and fail to include. When we say welcome but fail to ask them to join us. Won't you come with me to Sunday school? Would you like some coffee? Or we may have a good conversation with a person up here, and then at the potluck, there they are, eating alone. What has happened? Have we said welcome and not welcome? Sometimes people are looking for ways to offer their service. How can I help? How can I fit in here? I would like to help you. But when we're smooth and efficient and we have it all covered, we sometimes, okay, we've got it. We don't really need your help. Welcome or not welcome? So how can we improve? We improve by lifting our eyes, looking around, looking to the margins, looking to those who are unfamiliar, or those who are standing alone, not engaged with someone else. Look for those who are trying to find their way, and we go and greet them. I want you to carry on an awareness so that you each represent Christ. You each have the capacity to offer that warm welcome of Jesus. So lift your eyes and look around with an awareness. The second thing we can do is to widen the circle. A couple volunteers for this one. Everyone's waving their hand at once. Pete, Lomar, join me here. So the two of you are having a nice conversation. Okay, you can be talking about seed corn or something, I don't care. Yeah. So they're having a conversation talking about how dry it's been, and someone comes up. Okay, do they even notice someone else? Maybe not. Now, you guys are you're already doing what I want you to do, so, yeah. And so what happens, Pete needs to look up and recognize that I'm a little lost, right? This guy looks confused, and step back, widen the circle, make room for a third person to join the conversation, or to reach out and ask them what they think. Okay, it is so easy to do, but it doesn't always happen. And sometimes another person may come along and help to widen that circle. Thank you. You can sit down here. But just opening ourselves up and try to ever expand the circle that we're in. You see, we have so many good connections here, and so many good friendships. And in doing so, we can make our circle small and tight. And Jesus would invite us to be ever expanding, looking for who we can include in our circles. That is the welcoming way of Jesus. And so something as simple as being aware and then stepping back and creating an open space can do wonders for helping someone join the conversation and jumping in. So thank you for helping me widen the circles. The third way we can do is consider we are not saying welcome to my place, welcome to this space, this place. We are actually saying welcome to my space, welcome to me personally. We need to be personally involved. Our welcome isn't just to this gathering here, but welcome to my life. Welcome to some of my time. Welcome to some of my interests. Welcome to my little world. I will open my door and allow each of you in, right? That is part of widening the circle, but welcome to my space, not just my place. By doing so, we slow down and listen more closely. We may invite the deeper conversation, or we may follow up. Did you find that book you were looking for in the library? Did you find the things that you were needing? We may even offer prayer. You know, one of the greatest warm welcomes I have seen here, I'll say seen, I can say that word better. When I was preaching here for one of the first times, and you were planning to make some decisions about me coming here, so my stepmother was with me that day. She was with a guest with me and Sandy and I, and she had a prayer request. She raised her hand, and it was not seen by the person offering prayer. But someone else here saw that. And immediately after the service, they came and personally offered a prayer. And that told me this is a welcoming place. This is a place that knows the importance of welcome and is willing to live that out. And I'm thankful for that. We do not do poorly, but there's some areas we can do better. So meanwhile, back in Boston, I've been to the barber shop and the bank and the police station and the donut shop. I'm walking past the parking lot with trees and bushes, and there I found a laundromat. People waiting around, laundry's hanging around, right? They've got their dirty laundry out. And before I got there, someone is waving. Hey, how's it going? Come on in. Can I help you with something? They ushered me in. They pointed me to the bathroom. All was good. What a difference. What a warm welcome I received. These were people that had nothing to hide. There was no pretense. There was nothing they were trying to guard. They were just there, hanging out. I wonder, is that what it is for Jesus to eat with sinners and tax collectors? Just to hang out with our dirty laundry. Here we are. Welcome. We are glad you're here. What do you think? Can we do better with our welcome? Is the welcome of Jesus important enough for us to change our ways and to lift our eyes and to widen the circle and to connect with others and give them connecting points? I believe it is. And in doing so, we can share our faith, and we can we can bless others. During the song of response, we're going to take time for another time to greet one another. A time when you can offer blessings to one another. A time when you can go and shine the light of Jesus to one another. So, ladies, if you would come lead us, and the rest of us, I invite you to join together. You can sing along as you go, but do offer a blessing. Do welcome one another in the name of Jesus. Amen? Amen.